Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. I'm ready. I changed backgrounds. I know this is a Napoleonic War, so I think this is revolutions of 1848, 49 or whatever, but uh, I liked it, and I wanted to switch. Let's go. Nelson's Battles, Cape St. Vincent. Epic History, fantastic channel, preemptive like, original link, top of the description. My name's Connor, if you're new. Let's learn. Ready.
An Epic History Drakenfell collaboration. In 1792, the French Revolution sparked a European conflict that would last a generation. A struggle for mastery of Europe and the world. A contest fought on land and sea. In this...
So crazy how land and sea were the two modes of battle for thousands of years, and we are... airplanes are so insanely revolutionary, especially in war. For once ever now, it's land, sea, and air. And air is arguably the most important, or at least at first. I think that's crazy. It's like land, sea, and air now. I guess it's going to be space pretty soon, too.
War and sea. In this war of shifting alliances, the most enduring rivalry was between France and Britain. Britain could not challenge France on land, but at sea, it was a different matter. Britain's Royal Navy was as dominant on the waves as Napoleon was to prove on land. And in an age when Britain had many skilled naval commanders, one stood out above the rest.
Nelson.
Horatio Nelson. Bold, inspiring, and brilliant. For the British, he'd become a national hero. These are the stories of his greatest battles.
I cannot, if I am in the field of glory, be kept out of sight. 2nd of August, 1796, Horatio Nelson.
1797. The Revolutionary War is in its 5th year, and the French Republic dominates on land. It has conquered the Low Countries and northern Italy, and now its armies advance on Austria. At sea, the British Navy rules supreme, having won a series of victories over the French. But a new alliance between France and Spain poses a major threat to British naval power. Ship for ship, the British Navy is superior to any enemy. Its crews are experienced and well led, while the French have lost many naval officers during the Revolution, and the Spanish lack money and training. Britain also has the most ships.
Yeah, so Spain is very much past its prime at this point, right? Its heyday.
Britain also has the most ships, around 144 ships of the line, the largest vessels of the age, and the only ones that take part in major fleet actions.
Like the battleships?
France has just 69. But the new alliance with Spain adds 84 Spanish ships to that number. If these allies can join forces at sea, they will outnumber the British and could force a naval victory that will change the course of the war.
Yeah, they might have more now, but it's too close to outweigh the expertise of British crews and the types of ships. I think you need a much bigger number advantage than what was that,
Britain's
9?
largest naval force is the Channel Fleet, 16 ships of the line guarding the homeland. Detachments watch France's Atlantic ports, where the French have several powerful squadrons, with the largest at Brest. Britain's Mediterranean fleet, 10 ships of the line had been operating from bases in Corsica, Elba and Naples. But now Spain's joined the war, the British are heavily outnumbered in the Med and decide to make a strategic withdrawal to Portugal. Here, the fleet is reinforced to 15 ships of the line, and its commander, Admiral Sir John Jarvis, is ordered to keep close watch on the Spanish. In February 1797, 5 Spanish merchant ships sail from Malaga on Spain's south coast, bound for Cadiz. They carry a cargo of mercury, vital for refining the silver and gold, which arrives in Cadiz from Spain's New World Empire.
Interesting.
The convoy is considered so important that it receives a powerful escort.
I would love to know why. It's not important, but I would love to know why mercury is important to that process.
Considered so important that it receives a powerful escort. The entire Spanish battle fleet, 27 ships of the line, and several frigates. After escorting the merchant ships to Cadiz, the Spanish commander, Admiral Cordova, will continue to Brest to join forces with the French. If he is successful, the British will face a giant combined fleet, their greatest strategic fear. With the help of a strong Levanter wind, the Spanish pass swiftly through the Straits of Gibraltar. But the wind blows them too far out into the Atlantic. As they struggle back towards Cadiz, a thick fog descends on the sea. Meanwhile, British frigate HMS Minerva is returning from a diplomatic mission to Italy. Aboard, an emerging star of the Royal Navy, Commodore Horatio Nelson. He plans to rejoin Admiral Jarvis's fleet off Cape St. Vincent. HMS Minerva first survives a dramatic chase off Gibraltar. Then, on the dark, foggy night of the 11th of February, she suddenly finds herself in the midst of the main Spanish fleet.
Guys, when did naval mines become a thing?
The British are so close, they can hear Spanish voices in the fog. Minerve remains undetected and is able to slip away. 2 days later, Nelson reaches the British fleet. His report confirms others that Jarvis has received, that the enemy are near, though he still does not know their strength. Jarvis orders his fleet to prepare for battle and set sail to intercept.
Victory to England is very essential at this moment. Sir John Jarvis, Royal Navy, 1797.
Admiral Sir John Jarvis, commander of the Mediterranean Fleet, was from a prosperous middle-class background, but ran away to join the Navy aged 13. Now aged 62, he has 40 years' experience at sea, much of it fighting the French and Spanish. He's faced battle many times, but this will be the first time he's...
Guys, I'm gonna go back just 10 seconds. I have really, I love like having somewhat of a solid useful knowledge of a century's events, right? Like the 1900s, right? 1800s, 1700s, right? I'm pretty decent on the 1900s, okay? I'm pretty decent on the 1800s. It's just like an overall of like how stuff happened. The 1700s is my next goal of having a reasonable understanding of world events. I don't really know much what goes on in the East in these times, right? In China and India and stuff like even Middle East, a lot of stuff. But I'm talking more about like Western, Mediterranean, Europe, North, South America stuff. I want now, that's my next target, is the 1700s. It's just, I know like in the very early 1700s, you have the War of Spanish Succession, the Great Northern War. A bit later, you have or a good amount later, you have the 7 Years' War. And then you have the American Revolution, you have the French Revolution. But I still really, from pretty much 1700 to like 1776 or 1790, I really am not comfortable. And after I do that, I'll go to the 1600s and then the 1500s. And I don't need to be perfect. I don't know the 1800s to a T, but I'm comfortable now thinking about the 1800s. And I want to have that comfortability with the 1700s. So I'm going to be trying to learn more about that.
Years experience
More
at
about
sea,
the century.
much of it fighting the French and Spanish. He's faced battle many times, but this will be the first time he's led a major fleet into action.
Stay hydrated, guys.
He's fortunate to have several outstanding captains under him, including Collingwood, Troubridge, Saumarez, and Nelson, all of whom will have their own illustrious careers.
I've only ever heard of Nelson of
Jarvis's
those four.
flagship is HMS Victory, an aging but powerful 100-gun ship of the line.
Famous ship, of course.
The commander of the Spanish fleet is Admiral José de Córdoba y Ramos, a Spanish aristocrat, 65 years old. He'd also gone to sea at 13, and also has a record of long service, including several scientific voyages to the New World. He's only just been appointed commander of the Spanish fleet on the basis of seniority rather than merit, and has no fewer than 6 other admirals serving under him. Cordova's flagship is the mighty Santísima Trinidad. Carrying 130 guns, she's the most heavily armed warship in the world. Santísima Trinidad leads a powerful fleet of 27 Spanish ships of the line, although 3 of these will miss the battle. 7 are classed as first-rate ships of the line, meaning they carry 100 guns or more. Jarvis has just 15 ships of the line, and only 2 of them are first-rates. On paper, the Spanish advantage in firepower is massive, but the number of guns isn't everything. The speed and efficiency with which they're handled can be decisive. Moreover, Cordova's crews are not at full strength, and many of his sailors
Like giant floating shotguns.
Cordova's crews are not at full strength, and many of his sailors are inexperienced. Both fleets are accompanied by several frigates and other small ships, which did not usually fight in fleet actions, but were used for scouting and messages. At dawn, the British are sailing south in 2 columns. They hear Spanish signal guns in the fog and know the enemy is close. But while the British fleet sails with purpose, expecting to engage the enemy, the Spanish have become dispersed in their efforts to reach Cadiz. They are now in 2 groups. A smaller group of 5 ships to the east, led by Admiral Moreno, and the main group to the west, commanded by Admiral Cordova.
The crazy thing about naval warfare, that is such another dimension, is that on land, of course, you have your own issues that you won't have on the water, right? You have certain conditions of the ground, moving heavy guns, artillery, and logistics. In a lot of ways is more difficult there. But maneuvering is is much more, I feel like, straightforward in that you have to find the best way forward, and you pull with horses and whatever, right? But in here, there's such another dimension of how are the waves doing? Where's the wind blowing? And thinking about it in that way is just, I have no words. I don't know. Just the fact that there's that aspect in naval warfare with sailing ships is really interesting.
Both heading east-southeast. On their current courses, the British ships are set to pass between them. As the fog lifts, the Spanish fleet comes into view, and Jarvis learns for the first time that he is massively outnumbered. Lookouts at the mast tops pass a steady stream of updates down to the deck. 8 Spanish ships sighted. 20 ships sighted. 27 ships sighted. Finally, Jarvis snaps. Enough, sir. The die is cast, and if there are 50 sail, I will go through them. The Spanish have also spotted the British. The larger formation turns north.
This is what I mean. It's like, yeah, here you have horses and cavalry, you move and you go this way, but here it's like you have to have like the wind in your favor, and just knowing and pulling all these different ropes and angling the sails and everything to, like, I feel like everything just would move so much more slowly on the water, whereas it would be a much more direct mode of engagement on land.
Looking to...
it's an obvious thing, but it's interesting to me.
The larger formation turns north, looking to pass the British going in the opposite direction. The smaller Spanish force turns northwest, attempting to close up with the rest of the fleet. The British may be outnumbered, but if Jarvis can get between the 2 Spanish groups and fight half the enemy at a time, his odds will significantly improve.
How did they... I know voices travel very far over water, but would they have flag systems? Like right here, like you see, they all see each other, right? And for these two, it's like, all right, we're all turning left. How would they let everyone know? Like just raising flags, like, or just like having designated people with strong voices, just being like, aquí, or whatever they would say in Spanish. Or would they just have like designated flags that everyone would know? It's like, this one means everyone turn left. This one means half go this way, half go that way. Like, how do they all coordinate to like say, hey, we're doing this? And even more so for further away.
The smaller Spanish force turns northwest, attempting to close up with the rest of the fleet. The British may be outnumbered, but if Jarvis can get between the 2 Spanish groups and fight half the enemy at a time, his odds will significantly improve.
It's like Napoleon's strategy on land: from the line of battle as most convenient. Oh, form the line of battle as most convenient.
As the range closes, Jarvis orders his ships to form a single line of battle to cut between the 2 Spanish formations. The maneuver is carried out rapidly and efficiently, with HMS Culloden taking the lead.
Interesting, because now you can use both sides of all of your ships, whereas the Spanish can only use one side of their guns. So doesn't that kind of like double the firepower of the British going in between, since they can use every gun?
However, is struggling to form his ships into a line of battle following their turn. They continue to sail in a ragged group, with ships blocking each other's line of fire. The battle is joined at 11:30 a.m. as the British vanguard opens fire. At 1208, Jarvis orders his ships to turn 180 degrees in succession to maintain contact with the main enemy force. But now, the smaller Spanish force is coming up, threatening to break the British line near the point of its turn. If they can pull off this maneuver, they'll split the British fleet, making it vulnerable. Experienced British captains keep in tight formation, denying the Spanish any gap to exploit. But it is a determined attack. HMS Colossus takes heavy sail damage and veers out of control. Her neighbours, Orion and Irresistible, provide covering fire. The Spanish finally receive such a terrible series of broadsides that they abandon their attempt to get through the British line and turn away. For the British, every moment now counts. Admiral Cordova's force is getting away. He plans to slip around the British and rejoin with the rest of his fleet. If the British are to prevent him, someone will have to do something drastic.
Spanish admiral's plan was frustrated by the timely opposition of Commodore Nelson. Commodore, such a cool title. Colonel Drinkwater, eyewitness
Commodore Nelson,
aboard HMS Lively.
Commodore Nelson commands HMS Captain, a 74-gun ship, towards the rear of the British line. In this age, it was considered crucial to maintain the line of battle for the safe and effective maneuvering of the fleet. But Nelson sees that in their current formation, the Spanish will soon slip out of reach. Just after 1 p.m., he decides he must do something about it. On his own initiative, disregarding Admiral Jarvis's clear instructions, Nelson gives the order to wear ship and heads alone straight towards the main Spanish formation.
Madman.
HMS Captain is about to take on half a dozen Spanish ships single-handed, including Cordova's gigantic flagship, Santissima Trinidad. In these winds, it will take Nelson 45 minutes to close with the enemy. All the while, his ship is under
I hope I was in frame. I'm fine. Sorry.
heavy close with the enemy. All the while, his ship is under heavy fire from the Spanish.
Excuse me.
It's neither fast nor accurate, but steadily, much of her rigging and yards are shot away. It looks like Nelson's gambit might fail, but help is on the way. When Jarvis, aboard Victory, sees Nelson break formation, he signals to other ships to turn in support. HMS Excellent, commanded by Captain Collingwood, is quickest to respond. HMS Culloden is also now close enough to engage the rear Spanish ships. Several of these have now suffered heavy damage. Salvador del Mundo is effectively disabled. San Isidro has been battered. As HMS Excellent moves up the line to support Nelson, she fires broadsides into them at close range. Both Spanish ships haul down their colors, the signal of surrender. HMS Excellent's bold advance causes San Nicolas to take evasive action, and she collides with San Jose.
Now, what is the protocol? Because how do I know if you're telling the truth? So, what is the protocol? It's easy with I would imagine much easier with a land force that surrenders. You can gather them up and you can put them behind, take all their arms away, put them behind your lines, and take them into custody. But in this, it's like, so what is the protocol when you lower your colors I'm assuming like that means that you will give your ship to the British. So do you lower your colors? Do all your men come on deck, and then do you just go near the British ships? Because or do you try to run away? Because then it's like, so what is the protocol there?
To take evasive action, and she collides with San Jose. Nelson spots his chance. His own ship is crippled, but has just enough way on her to ram San Nicolas and attempt to take her by boarding. Nelson leads the boarding party himself, climbing aboard San Nicolas through a smashed window in the captain's cabin. After a short, sharp fight and close-range discharge of pistols, the crew of San Nicolas surrender.
Would you want one guy, especially if you're not certain that you're going to be able to overwhelm them quickly? Would you want like one or two guys to just try and rush through the action to the flag and try and lower the flag to make every Spanish sailor think that they surrendered, even if they didn't?
They've suffered more than 200 casualties, about a third of their strength. Nelson's not finished. His men come under musket fire from San Jose, which is alongside San Nicolas. Gathering more men, Nelson launches a second boarding action. From the deck of San Nicolas onto the San Jose.
Double board.
This Spanish crew, bewildered by the sudden onslaught, also surrender. This extraordinary feat of using one captured ship as a springboard to take another is soon dubbed Nelson's patent bridge for boarding first rates. He is presented with so many swords by surrendering Spanish officers that he has to pass them to his coxswain to hold.
Oh my God.
Cordova's flagship, the giant Santissima Trinidad, is now being hammered by 3 British ships. Her crew has suffered more than 300 casualties. Around 4 p.m., there are rumors she struck her colors, but it's difficult to tell amid the smoke, din and confusion. Before she can be secured, 2 undamaged Spanish ships arrive and help tow her to safety. The British ships are smoke, din and confusion.
What?
Difficult to tell amid the smoke, din and confusion. Before she can be secured, 2 undamaged Spanish ships arrive and help tow her to safety. The British ships are too battered to pursue the enemy, who have begun to regroup and may yet pose a threat. Jarvis signals to his fleet to form up and secure the 4 Spanish ships they've already captured. As Cordova and his remaining fleet sail for Cadiz, the British begin to cheer. A remarkable victory.
As she passed, HMS Victory saluted us with 3 cheers, as did every ship in the fleet. The emotions that you must feel after a horrific battle where you win have to be the zenith of just human emotions that are possible. And not many people in history, well, a lot, but like compared to the population in history, especially when it's like hand-to-hand stuff and
Against the odds, the Battle of Cape St. Vincent ended in a significant British victory. 4 Spanish ships of the line were captured, including 2 first rates. Around 800 Spanish sailors were killed or wounded, and 3,000 taken prisoner. British losses were just 73 dead and 227 wounded. Nelson's brilliant success meant his disregard for orders was overlooked. Instead, he was knighted, becoming a Knight Companion of the Order of the Bath.
Order of the Bath?
Admiral Sir John Jarvis was made the Earl of St. Vincent and received a generous pension and other honours. In 1801, he was appointed First Lord of the Admiralty, the political head of the Royal Navy. He lived to the age of 88 and is remembered as one of Britain's greatest admirals. Admiral Cordova, in contrast, was disgraced. Historians and his officers agree that he behaved with courage during the battle, but his ineffective maneuvers were blamed for defeat. He was dismissed from the Navy and forbidden to appear at the Spanish court. He died in 1815. The Battle of Cape St. Vincent was no battle of annihilation, but it had major strategic consequences. After their defeat, the demoralized Spanish fleet returned to Cadiz, where it was blockaded by the British, meaning the threat of the Spanish and French navies joining forces had been neutralized. And so the next year, 1798, a British squadron commanded by Rear Admiral Nelson returned to the Mediterranean. He was soon...
I could watch a full, 30-minute video just on the sails. Like an hour video, just on the evolution of where to put sails and sail technology and just how just how sails worked. Okay? Just I would love to see it.
Return to the Mediterranean. He was soon in pursuit of a French fleet carrying General
Bonaparte to Egypt?
Bonaparte's army to Egypt.
How he got away with that is insane.
In the age of Nelson, a young Englishman wondering how to make a positive difference in the world had an easy answer. Join the Royal Navy, smash the French. But those were simpler times. Today, many people want to know how they can make a positive difference in the world and find a fulfilling career without having to face cannonballs and grape shot.
Is that Macron?
Our sponsor, 80,000 Hours, is here to help. Guys,
I'm going to, of course, play through the ad here. It's, if it interests you. No one's obliged to do anything with the, this ads or anything being sold here. But if you're interested and you learned it here from me reacting to someone else's video, please, the original link to their video, top of the description, use their promo codes, their links if you're interested. It means a lot, okay?
80,000 is the number of hours in an average career. 40 hours a week, times 50 weeks a year, times 40
I'm going to play through it, but great, amazing, would appreciate any comments, guys. Love y'all. And,
years.
Again, playing through
That's
here.
a lot of time. It's probably your greatest opportunity to make an impact on the world. And so why finding a career that is both fulfilling and makes a positive difference is so important. That's what 80,000 Hours wants to help you do. They offer free research and support to help identify a career taking on one of the world's most pressing problems, such as the risks of AI, catastrophic pandemics, nuclear weapons, war, and climate change. Even if you don't know it yet, these are areas where your skills could really make a difference. Their information and advice is based on more than 10 years' research alongside Oxford University academics, and some of the results may surprise you. Start off by visiting 80,000hours.org/epichistory or clicking the link in our video description to receive the 80,000 Hours free in-depth career guide, exploring what makes for a high-impact career, new ideas for impactful paths, and how to build a career plan based on what you've learned and put it into action. 80,000 Hours also hosts a job board with nearly 1,000 high-impact career opportunities, searchable by location, requirements, and the problem they're tackling. Or if you've got some ideas already, they provide free one-to-one advice to help you implement them. There's also an 80,000 Hours podcast featuring in-depth conversations with experts on all of these topics. So, whether you're still working out what you want to do, or looking to change direction mid-career, or want to help solve pressing global problems from your current job, 80,000 Hours can help. And a reminder, 80,000 Hours is a non-profit, which means all their advice and services are completely free. To start planning a career that is meaningful, fulfilling, and helps solve one of the world's most pressing problems, sign up now at 80,000hours.org/epic-history. Big thanks to Drakenifel for expert research and advice throughout our series on Nelson's battles. For anyone with an interest in naval history, his own YouTube channel is essential viewing, packed with profiles of historic warships and expert discussion of naval technology and operations. Thank you to Royal Museums Greenwich for kind permission to use a selection of their images in this video.
I just want to make sure to show, their ad, their promo codes and stuff, guys, and their links. So, love y'all. Appreciate you all, and hopefully I'll see you next video. Bye, guys.